So, folks, we have to talk about Iran because things are getting bad very quickly. And I don't think people really appreciate, especially not people very high up in political power. I don't think people get how bad things are going to be.
Doing it for the Bears.
Salmon Moose, thank you so much for the 10 tier 1 subs. I very, very, very much appreciate your financial support. But, folks, Iran's about to get really bad. And not in ways that are necessarily going to be readily apparent. But one of the things that I talked about recently has been the ammunition situation. Now, just as one particular point of reference, okay, earlier today, the Kyiv Post reported that over the last 3 days, the United States has used over 800 Patriot missiles. And Patriot missiles are a pretty vital part of preventing our ships and our bases and the members of our military from getting hit by explosives. For reference, 800 Patriot missiles is more than the United States has ever given to Ukraine. And that's, again, part of the reason the Kyiv Post ran this story, because they were flabbergasted at the idea that the United States is just burning through this ammunition at such a clip. For the record, I looked into it, and every year, the United States has produced about 650, maybe give or take, Patriot missiles per year. All right? So, in the past 3 days, we've used more Patriot missiles than we manufactured in the entirety of last year. Now, our arms manufacturers are trying to boost the number that they produce. They have a 10-year plan to get from where they are now to producing 1,000 to 2,000 Patriot missiles per year. So, what's very clearly happening right now is that Iran is using dirt cheap drones and missiles to just burn through the anti-air defenses that the United States has. Okay? And what is going to happen at some point, despite all of the statements from Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth to the contrary, what's going to happen at some point in the near future is those Patriot missile batteries are going to go dry. And Iran can continue to, almost basically no matter how much their facilities are damaged or destroyed, Iran is going to be able to continue making these kinds of drones and keeping these kinds of drones stockpiled along with missiles, etc. It is a big country. They have a lot of fortified locations. They have the capacity to do this. And also, they've been deliberately, honing their military specifically for something like this for, the last 50 years. I don't really know how to put this, but, they have the capacity to burn through, an entire year of American anti-missile munitions very, very quickly. It's a big problem, and when we start running dry on these types of munitions, a lot more people in our military are going to die. And I also want to stress that, there's not really an exit strategy at this point, because Donald Trump has so royally fucked this situation. Even if the United States were to completely pack up and leave the region, the conflict is self-perpetuating at this point. We bombed an entire school of children with 175 of them dead, more possibly under the rubble. And I want you to think really hard what the United States public would support in terms of violent retribution if a foreign nation bombed a school full of elementary schoolers. If that happened to the United States, nuclear launch might be on the table. We're talking genuinely there would be like some unimaginable horror and war crime on the table here. And like Iran had like its entire leadership gutted. And so now, you know, at best they're able to like unify behind the Ayatollah's son. But I want you to remember that all of our intelligence indicates that like anyone that would become the next supreme leader in Iran is an even harder hardliner. And you just killed this guy's parents. And like, that's maybe the best case scenario we have on the table right now, because the other scenario that's on the table right now is that Iran fractures into several different areas of different military control, and then there's really no one to negotiate with that can exert any kind of influence over the situation. Makes me ask, are they using AI for strikes? Well, you don't have to ask, because they have straight up said yes. They are using Anthropic's Claude AI to do targeting for the strikes. That was something I talked about earlier that has been further confirmed. And just want to throw out there, again, part of the reason that a school, for example, might be targeted is its proximity to a potential military target. The fact that there might be a bunch of people hiding out in said location. And also just want to really point out here that this isn't actually all that difficult to talk about here, because it turns out that, it's all it's all being published out in the open. Anthropic's AI tool Claude is central to U.S. campaign in Iran. And in order to strike a blistering 1,000 targets in the first 24 hours of its attack on Iran, the U.S. military leveraged the most advanced artificial intelligence it's ever used in warfare. So there is a very good chance that that school was targeted by AI. And, well, Brooklynton, I'm not saying that Iran is going to stop rolling. I'm just saying, like, that deep bench of military leadership might have different objectives or different, independent movements, considering we're not entirely sure about the communications on the ground there in Iran. Different parts of the military at this point might be moving independently. But yeah, no, they are, in fact, using this to target locations. And we know that the school was in relatively close proximity to a military installation, and also that a lot of people might have been sheltering in that school, it seems like, due to, the bombs. And, wouldn't you know it, Middle East Eye reporting Iranian girls killed by double tap strikes on Manab school. Eyewitnesses described second blast, which killed survivors as they sheltered in the prayer hall. When the first bomb hit the school, one of the teachers and the principal moved a group of students to the prayer hall to protect them, one of the Red Crescent medics said, citing conversations he had at the time with survivors. The principal called the parents and told them to come pick up their children, but the second bomb hit that area as well. Only a small number of those who had taken shelter survived. Almost all of the 165 people killed in the attack, it's now up to 175, were girls aged between 7 and 12. In our rush to slaughter people in Iran, they relied on an AI to select targets, and it seems like it selected, without any kind of human oversight, a school full of children. It's incredibly disgusting. It's incredibly disgusting. And I wanted to talk a little bit here about, responses, like what is happening here. Here's the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt.
United States, the Secretary of State, and now I am out here today to explain to you exactly what led the president to make the decision to launch Operation Epic Fury. And President Trump does not make these decisions in a vacuum. This decision to launch this operation was based on a cumulative effect of various direct threats that Iran posed to the United States of America, and the president's feeling based on fact that Iran does pose an imminent and direct threat to the United States of America, based on the fact that they are the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, based on the fact that they were rapidly and aggressively building up their ballistic missile program to give themselves immunity within their country alongside their navy so that inside their country they could continue to create nuclear weapons and nuclear bombs, which would of course pose a risk to Americans in the region and even Americans one day here at home and then in the United States.
Yeah, so again, this entire war is based on Donald Trump's feeling. She just confirmed that, by the way. Oh, it's just my feeling that, my feeling is based on these facts, but it's just a feeling I have. Like, we're genuinely going into a war based on vibes, based on the whims of an insane egomaniac who is dementia-addled and is just, like, losing it more and more every day as the fucking scarlet rot consumes him. I can't, man. Like, here's NPR showing an image of the strike on the Manab girls' school. And you can see here, a clinic was bombed alongside the girls' school. The base was right here. And they just leveled all of these buildings. That was how precise their strike was. But it's okay because Donald Trump had a feeling. Those 165 to 175, 7 to 12-year-old girls, they had to die because Donald Trump had a feeling. And again, every single day, this conflict spirals more and more out of control. Here's footage of a U.S. sub sinking an Iranian warship off the coast of Sri Lanka. We're expanding this to just everywhere, I guess. Again, we are so far beyond like, oh, these are just targeted strikes. The president has the right to do some targeted strikes. He's a special little birthday boy. We have to let him slaughter people. It's okay. It's his birthday. Like, the Sri Lankan government is now having to be like, yeah, we're trying to rescue a bunch of Iranian sailors because the United States is just shooting ships off the coast of Sri Lanka that are minding their own business. Why are we doing this? There is no why. There is no why. Every single day, Donald Trump's stated reason for undertaking this brutality and this campaign of violence and death, it changes every fucking 10 minutes. There is no why we are doing this. This isn't over Iran having a nuclear weapon. This isn't over Iran entering into hostilities. This is because Israel wanted to attack Iran and has been wanting to attack Iran for decades. And finally, the hardline right in Israel got its chance in a dementia-addled Donald Trump surrounded by yes men to pull him into a conflict. And now there is no way out. There is no way out of this. Like, Iran is now going to be, like, fighting until people stop fucking with it, and, like, Israel isn't going to stop fucking with it. With one exception, and that exception is either the United States runs out of missile interceptors, or Israel runs out of missile interceptors. And this has historically happened before, leading to the immediate cessation of hostilities. But that situation is unlikely to repeat due to the fact that Iran is not going to just have chill about this and be like, okay, we're good. So, like, it's getting worse every day here. It's getting worse every day. Again, some people are like, well, if there was a hypothetical coup in America, we'd be able to stop this. No. Like, I want to, like, put you guys in the headspace, right? If your local elementary school was exploded by a foreign nation, and then that foreign nation did, like, a little coup, and then said, we're all good, right? That other guy was fucking dipshit. We're all good, right? Like, I don't think people would just be like, okay, yeah, we're good now. Like, no, I don't think that's how that would work at all. Especially given the fact that the conflict is expanding, okay? The conflict is expanding. Yeah, Trump never should have been allowed to run again. The slow walking of the case against him was a travesty in American history. But I also just want you all to know, Israel is also now at war with Lebanon. And again, there's been no formal declaration of war, but what has happened is that Israel has issued mass evacuation orders for the entirety of southern Lebanon, basically saying if you're in southern Lebanon from here on out, you are a valid military target. We will kill you. Like, they're invading Lebanon right now. Okay? And this hasn't gotten quite as much attention, but like, Israel is pushing north into Lebanon and trying to seize land from them, and is also simultaneously like trying to destabilize the entirety of the region so that they can use military strength to essentially expand their territory into the greater Israel project. This is the end result of, the enabling of settler colonialism. That's what is happening right now. Yeah, we were born on the Death Star, kinda. Yeah, we were born in the heart of empire. But I wanted to play at least some of this speech that Pete Hegseth gave. I think it was late yesterday in the for the what was this? The America's Counter Cartel Conference. Let's just take a listen to what he says here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my distinct pleasure to introduce our Secretary of War, the Honorable Pete Hegseth.
Well, good morning, everybody. Well, General Donovan and I are pleased to welcome all of you to Southern Command this morning. I'm honored to be the first Secretary of War to lead a hemispheric defense conference like this in more than 30 years. This conference is about you. This conference is about us. This conference is not called the America apostrophe S, America's Counter Cartel Conference. It's the America's Counter Cartel Conference. This is about.
Thanks, man. Again, it's like watching your drunk racist uncle interact with a baby.
What we together can do. You know, it's been more than 200 years since our nation struggled for independence from foreign rule. The War of 1812 was about the United States defending its independence and protecting its territory. A 47-year-old Carolinian who was a major general in the Army, as was mentioned, Andrew Jackson, defeated a British army almost double the size. Addressing his troops after victory at the Battle of New Orleans, Jackson declared, "Natives of different states acting together for the first time have reaped the fruits of an honorable union." His success galvanized a young country. In 1816, our country elected a Revolutionary War hero as president. James Monroe fought in the continent.
Someone was in chat trying to tell me that their entire leadership structure had been destroyed. A total of 40 people. Had to explain that Iran has a population of 90 plus million, so no, they had not. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, the people that the Trump administration wanted to negotiate with are all dead, but like, there are tens of millions more people in Iran who are deeply angry right now.
Army, leading a charge against German mercenaries fighting for the British. The enemy fired a musket ball at him. It severed his artery and he almost died. But the young captain rallied and grew to be governor of Virginia, Secretary of War, and one of our greatest presidents. In 1823, President Monroe said that the United States owed the success of that young country to the candor and amicable relations with other powers to affirm our national policy. President Monroe declared we should consider any attempt on malign countries to extend their system to any portion of this hemisphere as dangerous to our peace and safety. It was the Monroe Doctrine of 1823. And today, some 200 years later, we still marvel at the wisdom of President Monroe's declaration.
Now, I do really, really, really want you all to understand what's happening here. The Monroe Doctrine, along with like the idea of like manifest destiny, is basically the settler colonial myth that powers the United States, or powered the United States for a very long time. It's again, we have the right to colonize, we have the right to enslave you, we have the right to, and in the case of the Monroe Doctrine of 1823, literally enslave you, etc., 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 right? Like, he is explicitly saying white nationalism was great. White nationalist settler colonialism is the future and the ultimate wisdom. I want you to understand this, because it's essentially like him getting up on stage and hailing like the policies of the Ku Klux Klan as like the ultimate good in America. Okay?
We, like you, want borders and sovereign territories that are secure. We want unfettered access to key terrain and trade so that our nations can industrialize. And we want to prevent external powers from threatening our peace and independence in our shared neighborhood. This is the essence of the Monroe Doctrine. No external power will interfere in this hemisphere. Ours should be a region of strong, sovereign nations. It's the same principle that animates President Trump's defense approach today. President Trump and his Department of War are ushering in a new era of homeland and hemispheric defense, rooted in the unique
hemispheric defense
heritage of our nation and your nations. Under President Trump, we restored the Department of War. You see, the Department of War was established by General George Washington and served our nation from its founding through our hard-fought victory in World War II. Many of your countries also once had ministries of war.
Hey, what happens in a region of very strong competing nation states when they all have departments of war? Can someone refresh my memory when a bunch of really strong militaristic countries with notions of war and expansion suddenly all came into contact with each other? Was that good? I don't know about that.
Under President Trump, our nation has a newfound resolve that our founders would recognize.
Yeah, World War, even?
As Stephen alluded to and spoke to. They would recognize it, and they would appreciate it. We are at long last putting America, Americans, and the Americas first, ensuring peace through strength and restoring common sense. At our department, we're doing it by restoring the warrior ethos, rebuilding our military to historic levels, and reestablishing deterrence in this hemisphere and around the world. For too long, leaders in Washington and their foreign policy functionaries abandoned the simple wisdom of the Monroe Doctrine. They were
again, the richness of this guy being like, yeah, we're restoring deterrence by, you know, waging unilateral wars. God, again, by restoring deterrence, what he's saying is, again, waging wars of aggression. And frankly, he's just backing it all up by saying, yeah, and we're white. We're white, and this is in the name of Western civilization, and you're welcome, Earth. It's genuinely if the guys from Team America World Police actually were running America right now.
Consumed with the United States only going abroad. They ignored the warnings of President John Quincy Adams, who said that if our nation went overseas only in search of monsters to destroy, that we would cease to be the ruler of our own spirit and our own backyard. Under previous leaders, we grew obsessed with every other theater and every other border in the world except our own. These elites reduced our power and presence in this hemisphere, opting for a benign neglect that was anything but benign. In your countries, many leaders accepted the status quo to coexist with narco-terrorism, or for law enforcement, or for a law enforcement.
Again, he's talking to military leaders from all across North and South America, and he's basically taking the opportunity here to be like, actually, you all were fucking up by slacking and not doing anything about those drugs.
Lone approach that failed to deter and dismantle threats. Same happened in our country under the previous administration. And the result of this collective neglect was fatal. More than 1 million Americans were killed by fentanyl, cocaine, and other drugs.
And I gotta be honest, he goes on for like another, 20 minutes. We don't need to really see more of this. This is the mentality that Donald Trump and the Republicans are bringing towards the war in Iran. The reason I show this is to kind of really lay out there that they are explicitly getting in front of world leaders and other military members and other, representatives of global militaries, and just saying we are fighting for white supremacy. We are explicitly staking out this side of the planet. We're the big dogs. You all have to listen to us. Listen, you ungrateful dweebs. We are the ones who keep all of you safe, and you are letting the narco-terrorists win. How could you? Shame upon you. A shame. It's genuinely disgusting. But I want you all to understand, this is the actual nature of the white supremacist aggrievement and desperation on display. We have to understand our enemies when they are specifically getting up in front of the world and describing their exact positions without a single shred of shame. Okay? Well, yes, exactly, Ella. The Monroe Doctrine that he invoked at the beginning of his speech is quite literally saying the United States effectively owns the Americas. All of the Americas are in the United States sphere of influence. No one else on Earth should have a say in what happens in them more so than, America. That's it. It is all just like waving a big dick around and very clearly compensating for something. Now, I want that to be contrasted with what Iran's foreign minister has been projecting in his opportunities in the media. So, NBC actually did an exclusive interview with Iran's foreign minister, and it was pretty interesting, to say the least. We're going to watch at least the beginning part of this.
With breaking news right now, Iran is attacking its neighbors in the Middle East and whether they're willing to negotiate with the U.S. But I started by asking him who exactly is in charge of Iran right now after its supreme leader was killed over the weekend. Minister Arachi, we thank you for your time. Who is in charge of Iran right now?
Well, thank you, Tom, for having me in your program. Well, I think the system is working very well. We have lost a supreme leader, but according to our constitution, there is now a council which takes charge of his duties, and then the president, the cabinet, ministers, everybody is in its position. So the system is working very well, and everybody is in charge.
We know that there's been a council. We know that there's been a council to fulfill the duties of the supreme leader, but we also know that there's a selection process in play to pick the next Ayatollah. There are reports that Ayatollah Khamenei's son is a front runner. Is that true?
Well, actually, I have don't exact information. There are many rumors around, but we have to wait for the assembly of experts to choose.
Can we fight for a ceasefire? This shit needs to be stopped. We certainly can amp up the political pressure here to achieve something like that, but also understand that a ceasefire has to be agreed by both parties. And I don't know that Iran would necessarily be willing to accept that at the moment.
Who's the new supreme leader?
I also asked the foreign minister about Iranian ships being sunk and whether he believes Iran can win this war. Here's what he had to say. The world saw your battleship sunk in the Indian Ocean. Dozens of Iranian sailors died. Your response was, quote, "Mark my words, the U.S. will come to bitterly regret the precedent it has set." So what is Iran going to do? And at this point, given the state of your military right now, what can you do?
Well, first of all, that was a training training ship, which was invited by the Indian Navy to take part in an exercise. And they went there as their guests, the Indians guests, and they, did participate in that exercise, and they were in their way back home, and the ship was unarmed. So attacking an unarmed ship full of, training officers and sailors is, a war crime, I have to say.
What type of battleship, Minister, excuse me, but what type of military would allow a battleship into the ocean with no weapons on board?
Well, because it was, the goal was not, their aim was not going to war. They went for an exercise, which was arranged by the Indian Navy. There are so many other guests who went there and they, took part in a parade.
Who would do that? Send an unarmed ship out on the ocean? Haven't you heard there are American submarines out there that could just shoot anybody at any time for any reason?
And, everything was a peaceful, training course or a peaceful training process. So they didn't need, weapons. They actually went to that mission long before the war started. And when I said that the U.S. would regret that, I meant that they have, the U.S. have unfortunately set a precedent which is, against the international law and would actually damage the whole concept of international, law of seas. When an unarmed, ship is attacked with no reason, and a big number of sailors are killed without taking part in any battle, that would set a precedent. And
the U.S. The U.S. says it controls the skies, that Iran's ballistic missile attacks have dropped more than 80%. The U.S. has hit over 2,000 Iranian targets. The Pentagon says America is winning decisively. Do you think they're wrong?
Well, I think, now...
Well, America says it's winning. You, Iran's foreign minister, do you think that's true?
6 days after the war, it is clear that the U.S. Has failed to achieve its main goal, which was a clean, rapid victory. They failed to achieve that, and now they are trying to justify why they did attack us. And they have, presented so many different reasons, but none of them worked. And now they are talking about, Plan B. And I believe that, their Plan B would be even a bigger failure. So they are controlling our sky. But at the moment,
Minister, your supreme leader was killed.
Can I just NBC? What is this guy doing? What is this guy doing interviewing Iran's foreign minister? They'd be like, well, we got your king into checkmate, so that means you lost the war, right? That's not how war works, actually. If Donald Trump keeled over tomorrow, that doesn't end the war. Stop being a dingus. Are you kidding me?
Top military leaders were killed. Your military installations have been bombed. How can you call that a failure?
Well, then
how could you call that a failure? It's very easy how he can call that a failure, which is, number one, Iran is a huge country. 2,000 targets across Iran is nothing. Okay? Number two, Iran has 100 million people inside of it. They are a smaller country than the United States, but 100 million people is a lot of people. And they have an extensive bureaucracy and an extensive military chain of command that they can rely on here. I saw somebody make the comparison to a Hydra. It's but we cut the head off the Hydra. Surely that will end this conflict. It's no, that isn't how that works at all. At all. You are so missing the point if you think that we could have ended World War II just by killing Hitler. No, actually. The war machine still had other people who would have stepped in and continued that to go. The war, God, we've gotten ourselves into a situation that is not easily extracted from.
What they have achieved. What was their goal? They came here for a regime change, perhaps. They came here for a rapid victory. So,
and I would say that he's correct. Like, Donald Trump wanted another Venezuela. He wanted to decapitate the Iranian government and then have it all be done. You know, it's all done now. We finished the job. Now you have to make a good deal with us. And he thought that would happen again. And he did it with, like, maybe one of the worst targets he possibly could have picked on the face of the earth.
They can, control everything, but they have failed. The system is working. The commanders have been replaced, and the supreme leader is going to be replaced soon, according to the procedures set by the Constitution. So everything is in order. Yes, we have been targeted, but we have also have attacked so many targets in Israel, and so many targets belongs to the Americans, their assets, their bases, their installations in the region, and they have not been able to prevent those attacks. Our missiles are still working. Our missiles are still...
Like, what does he want? Does he want Iran to mine the Strait of Hormuz? Which I would add is within Iran's capability. Honestly, I don't think Iran is even really that pressed yet. Armchair analysis and whatnot, but like, if Iran was really getting pressed, they would do something like mine the Strait of Hormuz. They would do something like sabotage the Suez Canal. They would do stuff like that. They burn the oil fields, etc. They aren't doing that specifically because they're waiting. And I go back to what I said at the beginning of this show, which is that I think they're waiting for air defenses to be depleted before they do last resort measures. They're trying to burn through the United States air defense measures and erode their ability to track incoming missiles and stuff. And that's when they'll start that's when they'll start unleashing like their bigger weapons. So it's not great. Yeah, I mean, Iran has been a more rational actor throughout all of this than I ever would have expected. But I think the irrational thing at the moment is just they are absolutely not willing to have a ceasefire at this point.
In place and hitting their targets in a very precise manner. So,
Minister, can Iran win this war? If I can ask you, can Iran win this war, and what does winning look?
Yeah. Also, they did that again on the ammunition thing. We talked earlier about how like our country has a max capacity of manufacturing for Patriot missiles of like 650 per year right now, and maybe in like 5 years we'd be able to max out production at like 2,000, but it's not a matter of, just pay the employees overtime to make more missiles. We physically do not have the capacity to make more of these missiles faster. So, like, we genuinely don't have enough of a stockpile, which is why Donald Trump is hauling all of our arms manufacturer CEOs in front of himself tomorrow in order to yell at them, because he doesn't realize how fucked the supply chain is for getting missiles at the moment. Like, oh boy, if Iran is successful in burning through anti-air defenses, you're gonna start seeing some real terrible headlines from like the point of view of if you're an American conservative who's like, well, I don't care, it's Iranians who are dying. You're going to start seeing a lot more American names in the obituaries.
The loss of a Todd battery and depletion of strategic munitions means the shock and all failed. The next phases has the potential to be a bloodbath.
Well, yeah, that's why they aren't taking the idea of boots on the ground off the table. Because effectively, initially, they were like, we're going to have so much shock and awe that the people of Iran will rise up against their government. And that didn't happen. And then they were like, well, we'll get the CIA to arm the Kurds, and then the Kurds will invade Iran, and then we won't need to put boots on the ground. And number one, all that's done is have Iran attack the headquarters of the Iraqi Kurds, and now Iraq is like a total shit show. And the next step would be American boots on the ground. And
This feels like such a weekend at Bernie's country right now, and I don't like it.
it really, really does, Spot Dogs. And it's really bad. Because Donald Trump doesn't like looking like a loser, and there's no way for him to exit this without looking like a loser. And historically, what that means is he's not going to exit it, and he's going to continue to double, triple, quadruple down until his approval rating, I guess, goes into the negative. You know, it's now at negative 100. I don't know what to tell you. There's not a good way out of this, or at least a realistic path out of this at the particular point in time we're at.
Like for Iran?
Well, there is no winner in this war. Our win is to be able to resist against, their...
What does winning look like for you? Well, not being bombed would be a big start.
Illegal, goals, and this is what we have done so far. So they have failed to achieve their goals, and we have been able to resist against them, to stand against the most powerful army of the world, as they claim, together with Israelis, who are also claim to have the big army. Two of them are nuclear armed, but still the people of Iran, the army, the armed forces of Iran, have been able to stand firm against them. They couldn't, stop us firing missiles to Israel and to other destinations. We are doing very well, and they have not been able to stop us. So this is our win.
Yeah, how?
And I don't think they can be a winner at the end of the day.
Minister, explain to us and to the world, really, Iran has chosen to attack at least 10 other countries, many of them your Arab neighbors. None of them were involved in this war. Why are you attacking your Muslim neighbors during the holy month of Ramadan?
What an absolute shit. Like, I don't know who this guy doing this interview is, but goddamn. Why are you attacking all these other countries? Oh, all those other countries that have U.S. military bases in them? That they have explicitly said they're striking at the military bases?
Please don't mistake. We have not attacked our neighbors. We have not attacked Muslim countries. We have attacked Americans' targets and Americans' bases, Americans' installations, which are unfortunately located in the soils of our neighbors. So we have made it clear for them. I have been in touch with their foreign ministers, and I have explained that we are not targeting you. We have no problem with you. We are only targeting the American installations and American bases, and the reason is obvious.
But Minister, Iran is hitting civilian targets, striking.
That is what happens when people start shooting missiles, isn't it?
Hotels, high-rise apartments, airports in many of these countries. Those are not military targets.
I do want to clarify, airports are absolutely military targets. Like, in a war scenario, airports are very important infrastructure.
Well, no, we have targeted very well. The Americans are. Maybe there have been some collateral damages, as it is in every war. Look, more than 70,000 people were killed in Gaza by Israelis, and Israeli army called all of them collateral damage. So yes, there is the possibility of collateral damages in this situation as well. This is what we have warned everybody in the region beforehand, that if the U.S. attack us, we have no way but to attack their installations, which are in your territories, and then everything may go out of hand, and the war would become a disaster for the whole region. This is what we have warned, and many others have warned, and many Americans have also warned the U.S. administration.
Yeah, by the way, the U.S. military has warned this. Basically every compiled group of possible outcomes for this has incorporated, don't attack Iran because it will turn into an absolute regional shit show.
do not repeat the same mistake. They have done it before in our region, and this is what they have done. This war is not our war. This is not our choice. This is a war of choice by the United States.
Iran's foreign minister also weighed in about whether his country would be open.
I mean, I would have loved to hear the rest of what he had to say there, but okay.
Been to a ceasefire with the U.S. Here's what he told me. Right now, you're saying Iran does not want a ceasefire.
We are not asking for a ceasefire, and we don't see any reason why we should negotiate with the U.S.
Yeah, also, why on earth would Iran trust any kind of ceasefire offered by the United States at this point? Like, our word is meaningless. We attacked them in the middle of negotiations. Like, they would never trust it.
When we negotiated with them twice, and every time they attacked us at the middle of negotiations. So there is no request for a ceasefire by us, and there is no request for the negotiation with the U.S. From us. We have never sent any messages to them.
Minister, you said that Iran cannot reach U.S. soil, right? The American homeland with the weapons that you have right now. Is there any other way that Americans should be concerned that Iran could attack the American homeland?
No, they have enough bases around us. Why we should go further than that? They have enough soldiers. They have enough, military assets, and they have.
Also, they don't need to attack the United States right now. They're fighting a defensive war. Their only goal right now is survive. Like, they don't need to like go to the other side of the planet to like bring carnage here in the Imperial core. All they gotta do is fuck with the oil. All they gotta do is like hold out and outlast us. That's it. That's all they gotta do.
Enough military bases and military installations, so we don't need to go beyond that.
The Strait of Hormuz hasn't been closed, but the threat of its closure has disrupted the international economy. If this war continues, will Iran try to close the Strait of Hormuz?
But they have not closed it. It is the ships and tankers who don't try to pass through to cross the strait because they are, concerned about being hit by either side. So we have no intention to close it right now. But as the war continues, we will consider every scenario. For the time being, we have not done yet. And but the strait is almost empty of ships and tankers because of their concern.
In this war, are international oil tankers potential targets for Iran?
No. Why they should be a goal for us?
Iran threatened tankers in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has already threatened them to set them afire.
No, we have not threatened them. They are concerned themselves, and
it's
they don't use.
It's also wild how there was no need for the US to pick sides between Sunni and Shia countries for oil. We only backed a wrong horse by random choice.
I mean, none of this has to be this way. Like, we don't have to be fucking up the entirety of the Middle East. Hey, remember, guys? Like, maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, when people were talking about the Green New Deal as a fresh new concept? Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't it have been awesome if we just invested like $1 trillion into green energy production, revitalized our manufacturing centers, and like brought life to small town America again, building like factories and good paying future forward jobs that are going to be like in use indefinitely for the foreseeable future to manufacture like renewable energy sources. And then, hey, we wouldn't have to be constantly fighting wars of aggression in order to try and control oil and oil prices so that we can burn the corpses of more dinosaurs for our death engines that are killing us. It'd be so cool if we had done that instead of killing hundreds of thousands of people over dinosaur liquids. It'd be really cool if we had just built a good life here in America instead of taking life all around the world. God.
By all rational standards, Iran was far more Western and always has been than SA could have fucked both and Russia by going green.
It's true. It's true. Like, we could have been so much more than we are right now if we had just, like, embraced the idea of a future without fossil fuels. You know? We could be, like, saving the literal planet. We should be running our economy like it's fucking wartime, mass manufacturing solar panels and selling them at a pittance to every country on the planet, revitalizing our economy, building up the power capacity of other countries around the world, and, like, saving the goddamn planet. But instead, a decrepit dipshit who's evil to his bones is running our country into the Middle East to start what is potentially a large regional war that will go on for the next 20 years, or even worse, a global war, a World War III, if you will, for no reason other than he wanted to flatter his own ego and do Venezuela 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's it. It's stupid as hell. And it's so frustrating. Yes, dinosaur oil, you understand what I mean. It's the plant oil from the old times. Old-timey plant oils. Honestly, we should probably just start calling it that, because eventually Republicans will be like, "Ugh, oil's woke. Essential oils from plants? Disgusting." And they'll drop it in an instant. It'll suddenly be soy and gay to be using fossil fuels. God, it's so frustrating. Seed oils! Sorry.
The Strait of Hormuz, because of the concerns they have to be hit by either side.
Also, plastic dinosaurs are real dinosaurs because real dinosaurs became oil, which became plastic, and plastic dinosaurs.
I like it. I like that idea a lot. You know what? I'm running with it. I don't care if anyone presents me evidence to the contrary. This is my mental dissonance, and I will carry it to the grave.
Is Iran privately talking to U.S. officials right now through back channels?
Oh, God. Like, this news anchor asking these questions and then looking so bemused and stunned by the responses. So you mean Iran is speaking via back channels to the United States, begging for mercy, right? The Iranians are begging us to stop, right? I just, Jesus. Like, what would they say? What guarantee could the US possibly give them? We've proven ourselves to be faithless, not just to the Iranians specifically, but to any nation. In all of our dealings with every single fucking nation when Donald Trump has been in office, we have been unreliable. There is no reason for any of these groups, any of these countries to believe us ever. And because people in chat are still talking about dinosaurs, dino DNA.
There's no communication with you and Steve Witkoff or Jared Kushner?
Also, can we just, like, stop here and be like, why has it just been unquestioned and accepted that Jared Kushner's name is getting thrown out there? Guys, like, this is like if somebody was talking to them and just being like,
we want to represent all sides of the American conversation and perspectives. Oh, you want to be more wrong. Gotcha news orgs.
Exactly. You know, like, but this would be like throwing out no one from Iran is trying to reach out to Steve Witkoff, the diplomatic envoy to Iran, or even The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It's just like, why the fuck would they be reaching out to Dwayne The Rock Johnson? What does he have to do with all this? What possible role is he filling here? Because Jared Kushner has no official role with the US government. He's just a guy. He doesn't have a job here. He's just a guy. Well, what does Steve Witkoff think about all this? And what else? Can you resurrect the corpse of Steve Jobs and ask him what he thinks about all of this? Like, it's genuinely insane.
No, not after Thursday that we met last time. We met last Thursday. We negotiated for almost 7 hours. They were so happy when they left the negotiation table because we were able to make significant progress, as the Omani foreign minister said in his statement, and he checked his.
I thought Jared Kushner was like secretly in charge of a ton of shit. In order to be in charge of anything in the US government, you have to have an actual role in the US government. He has none. He's just an investment guy that they keep bringing around to their high stakes negotiations for no clear reason, other than as a vehicle to siphon a bunch of money into Donald Trump's bank accounts. That's the only reason he's there. But like, the press, for whatever reason, isn't constantly asking about that.
Statement with both sides, and both sides agreed with the term he used, and we were made really significant progress. They were happy when they left, but I don't know what happened after they left.
And I asked Iran's foreign minister about whether his country is prepared for a possible ground invasion from American troops. Watch this. President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them.
God.
Historically, Iran likes to the Scorpion King and Canada as a diplomatic intermediaries.
True. Historically, the Scorpion King is quite good at negotiations. But like, are you afraid of a U.S. ground invasion? No, they've been prepared for that the entire time. Like, guys, to like put into perspective here, Iran has a standing army of 600,000 people. Iran's geography lends itself to being a natural fortress.
We called Michael Jackson to help WJTH negotiations, except Michael Jackson actually could negotiate us out of this.
It's true. He could go, hee, and then moonwalk his way to victory. It's true. Exile Hannibal, thank you for the $20 super chat. Very much appreciated.
Iran likes to build hospitals. The U.S. likes to bomb things and live in medical squalor.
I mean, that's true, Sake. Thank you. For the 2 tier 1 subs. But like, the Iranian military has not been meaningfully curtailed here. If the United States landed troops, they would be outnumbered like 20-1. Like, it's not like you want to send you want to land troops in. That's why you're trying to arm like the Kurds. You're trying to get a public uprising, because if U.S. troops set foot on Iranian soil, like, they're going to be threshed. Okay? They are going to just be like cut down. It's not even going to be close. And again, you can't do regime change wars if you're unwilling to put boots on the ground. It's just not going to happen. Like, in Venezuela, they had to put boots on the ground to kidnap Maduro. Here, if they wanted to try and actually make a play for ending this conflict, it would take occupying Iran. And I can tell you, that is not going to happen. It's virtually impossible for the United States to do this. And, like, Iran's foreign minister knows this. It's why he's like, yeah, we're waiting for you guys. We're going to beat your ass.
And that would be a big disaster for them.
How would Iran respond to troops on the ground? They'd fucking kill the troops.
So you're saying that Iran is ready and willing to take...
To really, like, hammer it home here, we were unable to, like, wipe out, like, the Taliban, right? If you, like, add up the manpower of, like, all groups of the Taliban, you get something close to, like, maybe around 100,000. Maybe. And I'm being very generous here. We're talking about a far more organized force that is deeply entrenched in this region, that is 6 times the size, and has had a national budget attributed to it for, like, the last 50 years to build up and further entrench itself. This would be like, genuinely, if we put boots on the ground, there is no way we come out of this looking okay.
Iran is 630,000 square miles. Vietnam was 128,000 square miles and we deployed 2.7 million troops. Iraq was 168,000 and we put 1.9 million troops in there.
God.
I'm in a crazy angry place about the girls murdered at Minab.
You should be.
I'm kinda losing my mind. It was a girls' school. They were murdered.
You should be. Like, we should never stop being angry about the fact that Donald Trump essentially sacrificed 175 children to flatter his own ego. We should be mad at every single Republican, every single Democrat that voted to allow this to continue. But here we go.
Take on the U.S. military if there were to be ground troops?
Well, we were ready for this war even more than the previous war. So you can see, the quality of our missiles, how much they are upgraded after the last war, because we learned lots of lessons. And we are prepared for any other eventuality, even, a ground invasion. So our soldiers are prepared for any scenario. When I said that we are waiting for them, it didn't mean that we are waiting for continuation of the war. No, but we have prepared ourselves to confront with any scenario, with any eventuality, any possibility.
Oh, also, I should also clarify, Iran also has 350,000 reservists. So if Iran were to be fully mobilized for war, we're talking about a million troops standing by to intercept Americans landing on their shores.
And we know that we can handle that.
Are your allies Russia and China helping you?
Well, they are supporting us politically and otherwise.
Are they supporting you militarily?
Well, military cooperation between Iran and Russia is not a secret. We have worked with each other in the past, and that has continued, and will continue, I guess.
And they are actively helping you in this war?
Well, they have always helped us.
So I'm gonna understand that to mean yes, that they are actively assisting you in this war?
Well, I'm not going to give the details of our cooperation with other countries right in the middle of the war.
For more, I want to bring in our chief international correspondent, Keir Simmons. He joins us from the region.
No, we're good. We're good. We don't need that chief international correspondent. I think we can all tell what's happening here.
Imprisoned at the notorious Evin prison on death row. This was in the 1980s. And yet you warn against the toppling of this regime. Mm-hmm. Why?
Because I think that in the past 40 years or so, there were so many important events happening inside Iranian society. Iranian society, decade after decade, showed that they are capable of transforming their own society. Issues of social justice remain very prominent in Iranian society. Iranian women were very, very active in changing the conditions of their own life inside the country. And Iranian labor movement was very strong. Iranian students always were very strong. And I thought that at this moment, toppling the government without having a clear alternative only would damage those struggles that people have struggled to maintain throughout these past 40 years, would diminish. And I am very pessimistic about the possibility of a regime change in Iran without having a clear idea of what is going to replace it.
I mean, honestly, yeah, there is no plan. There is none whatsoever. There's not like any kind of like, how do we get out of this? who do we want to be in charge? What are our goals so that we can say we fulfilled them and leave? And how are we safeguarding our troops' lives and, the lives of civilians? None of this is happening. All that is happening is Donald Trump wants to look good, and he's angry at anything that isn't making him look good. And right now, he's having a fun time because he thinks this is like a new toy for him to play with. And I'm only slightly exaggerating here. Like, here's just a clip of him from yesterday.
I have to go back and look at the war. We have a lot of things happening. Thank you, Bernie. You're doing a great job.
Like, he's just like, I gotta go back and look at the war. Like it's a fun little thing he's doing. Destabilization is the plan. Chaos is the plan. No, it's not the plan. They have no plan. They have no goal. Like, the goal isn't even, distract from the Epstein files, because we're still talking about the Epstein files. Pam Bondi is getting hauled in to testify in front of Congress about the Epstein files. Like, this isn't stopping them at all from doing the things, but what it is doing is making Donald Trump feel like a big man. He's a big, tough man, a big, scary man. And, like, they're just not gonna get that. The goal is balkanization? No, it's not. Like, they went in on a wing and a prayer, and, like, their prayer ain't getting answered. And their wings are clipped. No plan to make it last forever? No. Because, again, if the plan was to make it last forever, then you would send your, like, troops in stocked up with enough anti-air missiles to, like, make it last forever. This is desperation. This is ego. This is dementia. Okay? Israel's goal isn't even, like, chaos and disruption, really, outside of, like, the immediate effects. They don't want it to last forever either. But Israel's goal, which is different from the United States' goal, is specifically to get Netanyahu reelected and to expand. Like, they're expanding into Lebanon right now. Okay? Like, that's Israel's plan. But Israel's plan is not the United States' plan. And as far as, like, the United States is concerned, and our leadership is concerned, there's no fucking plan at all, other than the fulfillment of, like, a decades-long effort to try and bomb Iran. That's it. It's the penguin wandering off from the migration pattern. Yeah, exactly. Also, here is Senator Tim Sheehy of Montana breaking the arm of a Marine who was protesting the unilateral and illegal war in Iran.
No one wants to fight for Israel!
His hand! Oh! His hand!
Oof.
Sir. Let go of your hand. Let go of the door. Let go of the door. The senator broke his hand. A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. Sir. Okay. Control your Senate. Arm stuck in the door. Okay, sir. A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. Hand stuck. A U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine. You're a coward. Punk. Yeah, go fuck yourself. What'd you say? Senator? Go fuck yourself. You're a shit seal. That's why you got kicked out. Fat ass. Everybody sit down, please.
Nothing lasts forever. All good things must end. I've memorized these lines by heart. So tell me, I need to know it. When do the good things start? CBRWNMSCL.
They just broke this man's hand because he wanted to come in and yell, hey, maybe we shouldn't be murdering hundreds of children in the name of an illegal war. and a sitting member of Congress stepped in to break his hand.
Sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please.
I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down, please. Is your hand okay? Okay.
No, it's not.
This is disgusting. Disgusting.
Just pull it out.
Is your hand okay? No, it's fucking not. You heard the bones crack. Yeah, the party of protecting our troops breaking the bones of a troop. Did he go fuck yourself? No, I think that was one of the people in the audience. You have the right to stand up and shout. You do have that right to stand up and essentially say, hey, my elected member of Congress is a piece of shit and we shouldn't be going to illegal wars.
A sitting member of Congress from Montana. How's the Israeli levels in Montana?
I mean, that is something I probably should have looked up before doing this segment. How much does AIPAC money does Tim Sheehy get? Oh, he got $641,000 from AIPAC and their bundlers. Super cool. Super cool stuff. So that's approximately how in the bag he is for AIPAC. It's also worth noting that the last time the United States declared war was in 1942. All of our wars and conflicts since then have been without a declaration of war from Congress. And I gotta be honest, I think any part of any kind of New Deal at this point that Democrats may want to put forward, honestly, we maybe should be going through and making a policy document to start circulating around. But one of those policies should be the reestablishment of the primacy of Congress over declaring war. No president should be able to just unilaterally take us into a Vietnam or a Korea or an Iran. This should not be a thing. We should not be allowing presidents to unilaterally do this. The founding documents of the country said explicitly, do not do this. You do not have the ability to do this. And over the last century, Congress has abandoned its very bedrock and ceded that power to the president. And I think maybe we might be able to get a carve out for well, you can also fight defensively if there is an imminent attack against the United States. But that's it. If you have evidence that missiles are in the air, you can respond. But short of that, there should be a declaration of war from Congress. I don't know what to tell you. This situation is untenable. And, at least some senators are recognizing this. Here's Senator Chris Murphy talking about this.
This is as serious as it gets. This is war and peace. They told us in that room that there are going to be more Americans that are going to die, that they are not in the short run going to be able to stop these drones.
Every military action has been unjustified for 84 years.
True.
And has some war crimes, as opposed to not supporting public media, which is a war crime.
Nailed it.
That are going to continue to fly into the Middle East. We have to have a debate in the United States Senate on an authorization of military force. It will likely fail. And we shouldn't be voting to proceed to other pieces of legislation until we get a debate on this deeply unpopular, immoral, and illegal war with Iran.
And, I would like to say that, Chris Murphy was right about, the vote situation, except he was wrong. He was wrong about the vote situation, both in the Senate, which he's a part of, as well as the House. And today, the second vote happened, that being the one in the House. And wow, wouldn't you know it, just barely, with almost every single Republican in the room voting to reject the War Powers resolution that would have ended the conflict with Iran, They were able to, hold on to this war. So 215 Republicans voted no. 4 Democrats also voted no. And wouldn't you know it, all 4 of those Democrats are in the tank big for AIPAC. Oh, look at that. Jared Golden, over $3.4 million. Henry Cuellar, $3.2 million. Greg Landsman, $1.7 million. Juan Vargas, almost $1 million. Henry Cuellar just won his primary, just as an FYI. And like, I just want to point out here, if those four had voted in favor of the resolution, we would no longer be in active conflict with Iran. It would have constrained the president's powers. Like, if we had just had, it's so frustrating. It would have been 215 to. It's so frustrating, and I gotta be honest. Like, I've spent a lot of today looking at this image. It's so fucking frustrating, and I do want to hammer home an important point about folks that take AIPAC money. I think the important thing to note about this is not like necessarily Israel is paying them to have those positions. What is happening is that AIPAC finds individuals who are already in agreement with them and then pays them to further reinforce that belief. It's not necessarily that they are up for sale, it's that they've been cultivated as candidates to be already okay with this money and this source.
Congress has only ever voted to go to war twice, both for the 2 world wars. Every other war was illegitimate.
Yep. Also, again, if you think that Americans aren't going to be freaking the fuck out over gas prices soon, over the past, let's see here, 2 days, on average, we've seen an increase in gas prices by about 22 cents per gallon, which is historically the fastest increase ever since 2005 and the invasion in Iraq. Like, we're in a real bad spot, folks. And they are draining the strategic oil reserve in order to absorb that price shock. But like, they aren't going to be able to fully absorb that, especially not with like the fate of the Strait of Hormuz and the Suez Canal in the balance. Wouldn't people's energy bills go up too, depending on the source of their energy? Let's take a look at this absolute ghoul that Zateo managed to track down here.
Hey there, Senator. How you doing? I was wondering what you made of the Department of War's sinking of an Iranian naval ship today.
Oh, I want to offer condolences to your boss. I know he's all broke up about the Ayatollah. Was, you know,
who's our boss?
What?
Who's our boss?
Huh?
You're offering your condolences to my boss?
Yeah, no. What I'm saying though, it's like I know who you work for. It's very anti-Israel. And
we just reported on humanitarian law, sir.
He's very anti-Israel, and I'm very pro-Israel. So we can agree and disagree on things.
Sure. Do you think it's okay for the U.S. to bomb an Iranian naval ship in international waters?
I think the world's better that he's dead now, and I think it's a good thing now that Iran will never acquire a nuclear bomb.
What about the naval ship today, though?
I have much else to have said, and if they think it's a good idea to have a nuclear bomb, I really disagree on that.
Is it okay for the U.S. to bomb naval ships without a declaration of war, though?
I'm sorry. I support killing the Iranian leadership.
I'm not talking about leadership.
Why wasn't he upset about why they killed all the Iranians?
Senator,
why wasn't he upset about? He wasn't angry about
who's he?
Killing the thousands and thousands of young Iranians. He didn't seem bothered by that.
Who's he, Senator?
I don't think he remembers who Mehdi Hassan is. But like, what a racist piece of shit. Like, oh, a reporter that is critical of a war we're entering into for no reason, with no clear war goals. Oh, I'm sorry, that the head of your journalistic outfit must be really broken up about the death of the Ayatollah, you know, because Mehdi Hassan. It's fucking gross, man. I feel so bad that I ever like thought well of John Fetterman even for a moment.
He's struggling for breath. Maybe he should try to eat healthier.
Yeah, maybe. But you know, I'm okay if he doesn't, you know what I'm saying?
I need my daily meditation from Zateo.
honestly, Zateo is, you know what? Not sponsored, but you know what? Folks, y'all should go and subscribe with real dollars to Zateo, okay? Zateo does good content. They do really good journalism. You should genuinely support it because, hey, at the very least, it's not owned by a goddamn billionaire who's trying to, like, manipulate you into, I don't know, taking a bullet for capitalism. Yeah, Prem Thakur out there doing the Lord's work, you know? All right. But yeah, the United States is pushing Kurdish forces to invade into Iran, and apparently they are accepting the arms and moving to do an invasion. And yeah, the source declined to provide a date, but said the Iranian Kurdish forces, which had been supplied with weapons and other equipment, could cross within days from Iraq into Iran. It again, this is all set to go really, really bad, especially given the fact that, like, the United States has a history of specifically screwing over the Kurdish people over and over and over again. And, like, that brings us back to, again, here's what's happening on the ground in Iran. They're building, like, mass graves for the children who were blown up by the United States. Like, this is what's happening right now in Iran. There have been massive funeral events for all of these murdered children. This is one of the biggest flashpoints in their modern history. And I point this out because as Iran is grappling with a national loss, Donald Trump is making it clear what his number one priority is, which is, of course, posting AI renderings of his ballroom. His ballroom that looks like it is going to collapse under its own weight due to lack of support structure, but I digress. You know, just posting a lot of images here. He's got to make sure people understand what it's all going to look like, to understand the vision. You know, it's just going to be an ugly fucking monolith. Lord, during all this, his brain is mush, guys. Like, he's flitting from topic to topic because his brain is dying. The neurons are all disconnecting. Okay? And I wish I could say, well, guys, at least we can turn to the Democratic Party. At least most of them are, you know, maybe kind of the good guys. But guess what? That's not true either. Most of them are stupid as hell. And I cannot believe I'm saying this, but a lot of them are saying, maybe we need to give Donald Trump more money to violate our Constitution to pursue an unjust, illegal war of aggression where we have no clear war goals and no clear objective whatsoever at all. Let's give him more money. I cannot. I cannot. The White House is reportedly mulling a $50 billion ask. Hey, guys, do you want free college education for every man, woman, and child in this country? Or do you want to just kill more Iranians for no reason? Well, guess what? Apparently the US government can pull money out of its ass now in order to feed the war machine, but not to feed your kids. Cool stuff. We literally just saw a clip the other day of a caller into C-SPAN who's getting like $14 a month from Snap in order to feed herself, and she was in tears because she's slowly starving. And like, but no. You understand, poor people have to have their benefits cut so that we can afford to just throw $50 billion into murdering other people's children for no reason. It's disgusting. I have no power and I must scream. I mean, true. That's a massive sum on top of the more than $990 billion Congress has shelled out for defensive capabilities in recent months. We've given the military almost $1 trillion. And by the way, again, I've talked over and over and over again at how all of this is just disconnected from reality. Everything you've been told, everything, we can't do Medicare for all, it'd be too expensive. A fucking lie. We can't feed everyone in this country. A fucking lie. We can't, we can't house everyone in this country. It's a fucking lie. We don't have the money to do any of those things. It's a fucking lie. It's just a fucking lie. Guess what? Preliminary Pentagon cost estimate of the war in Iran is $1 billion a day. A congressional official told me. We are spending $1 billion every day that this conflict goes on for no reason. You know how I talked a little bit the other day about the movie Toys and its scene about
I just
drones?
wish someone would call Trump a tiny-dicked cuck to Israel on the floor of Congress or the Senate.
I wish they'd say it to his face. You know, like journalists are around him all the time. Get up in his grill and say it. You know, don't get shot by the Secret Service, obviously, but like, damn. The Epstein class just loves stealing our money. They really, really do. And I will add another thing. We talked about the movie Toys and about its very long monologue about drone warfare and training children to essentially fight wars, etc., etc., etc. And, that scene kind of felt a bit on the nose. So I want to share with you guys a real video that was put out by the U.S. military and the U.S. government to try and sell the war in Iran to the American people. Yeah, so as you can see, they used footage from the hit video game Call of Duty, which I literally referenced the other day, and then cut it with actual footage of actual people and places in Iran being blown up with kill streak points popping up as they did so. The US government is literally portraying this as a fucking game. Demons. I mean, genuinely, like at this point, conservatives in power are fucking demons, as far as I'm concerned. It's insane. It's insane. And what pains me is that there's only 5 people in Congress who are coming straight out and just saying this is evil, heinous shit. And we need to fight this, okay? And one of those people is AOC. So let's just play a little bit of AOC here.
I have a quick question. So to that point, so if the Democrats control the House, would you push for the impeachment of President Trump?
I mean, listen, there's so much we've got to do. I have supported impeachment articles for the president in the past. I think that there has been ample evidence of a lot of crimes being committed. I think, and here's the thing, I want to be very clear that this is not about a disagreement in policy. This is not about, I don't like him, so I think he should be impeached. Or, I don't agree with this person because they're a Republican or whatever, so I think they should be impeached. That's not what this is about. This is about actual crimes happening in front of us. This is about shredding the Constitution and plunging us into war without so much as even adhering to Congress. This is about taking crypto money and money laundering that is happening right before our very eyes. This is about emoluments. This is about, regardless of party, the basic adherence to the law necessary to do the job. And so if you're asking me if I'd support impeachment, I do. And I think that it's on very objective grounds of following the law or not. And we're not talking about little things here, you know?
And you should publish.
And she's right. Like, any single one of these things should be grounds for the removal of a president. Almost 90% of the stories we're reading right now about our people in power should be grounds for removing them. And prosecuting them, I might add. Okay? Is she a lefty? Left-handed? I see what you did there. Here we go. Here's another clip.
So, Congresswoman, what's your message to Americans who are concerned about another forever war in the Middle East?
Well, I think first and foremost, the reality that we have here is very clear. The vast majority of Americans are against a war with Iran. Two things can be true at the same time. We can acknowledge the brutal reality of the Iranian regime and their murdering of protesters and targeting of people. And we can also know for sure that a forever war will not resolve that issue. We've seen what's happened in other areas of the Middle East, in Libya, in Syria, and beyond. Of course, the war in Iraq. And we are already at multiple American service members that are dead in illegal action that the president has pursued with no plan out. They don't know why they got into this war. They're talking about 400 or 500 different reasons, and they don't know how they're getting out. They have plunged the world into major global instability. Things have never been more dangerous in many ways, and it is our responsibility to stabilize the situation and bring us back from the brink. And a war with Iran is not how we do that, and it's not how we accomplish anyone's goals.
Really, that's what we got here. Like, we have kind of two options, not three options, really, going forward. One option is to double down on the death cult that is MAGA. Another option is to take the establishment Dem route, which will continue all of the same problems and just kick the can down the road at best. And the other way is recognizing that there is a need for accountability and a need for a new path and a need for, basic reforms like Medicare for all. Either things get worse, they stay as bad as they are now, or they get better. And AOC represents that getting slightly better, at the very least, option. As far as anyone currently in mainstream politics, it's like Bernie and AOC. It's deeply frustrating that we live in a time where our politicians have so utterly failed us. It's deeply, deeply frustrating. And then we have the option where things get worse. And just to highlight that as the final clip I'm going to play for all this, I know we've been going for a long time. Please bear with me.
And your next one is going to be, we want to do that special Cuba. He's waiting, but he says, let's get this one finished first. We could do them all at the same time, but bad things happen. If you watch countries over the years, you do them all too fast, bad things happen. We're not going to let anything bad happen to this country.
You might not have caught it, because the clip begins at a bit of an awkward time here.
And your next one is going to be, we want to do that special Cuba. He's waiting, but he says, let's get this one finished first.
Because he's kind of slurring his words. But to get his full quote here, your next one is going to be Cuba. He's waiting, but he says, let's get this one finished first. We could do them all at the same time, but bad things happen. He's standing there. He's talking to Marco Rubio, who's sitting in front of him. He is stating out loud his intention to invade Cuba. This is what an unconstrained lunatic he is. By abandoning their duty, Congress has effectively rubber stamped his future aggression towards other countries, whether it be Cuba, which I'm sure some Democrats would support, or Greenland. He's working his way up. It is not going to stay at the acceptable targets that like establishment Dems have been salivating over for like the last 30 years. He's going to extend it elsewhere. And if you keep giving him this power, he's going to keep having the power. I'm curious, could we form one union for all workers and choose local, state, and federal candidates from there? We need major change. Well, first of all, let's build up unions in our workplaces. You know, like one could connect all of the unions in the country into one larger organization, but like, let's be real here. We need to get union membership up everywhere. It is really, really bad that we are sitting in a time where we've gone in and invaded a country of like 100 million people and are currently raining bombs on a city center that, just out of curiosity, Tehran metro area population. What is that population? Okay. Tehran has a population itself of 9 million and around 16.8 million in the metro area. We are raining bombs on an area full of around 18 million people.
That clip sums it up
or 16
so well.
million people. It really, really does. Well, I'll take a look at your clip in a second here. But like, we are bombing tens of millions of people all across Iran for no clear stated reason, for no reason that they are saying that isn't just an outright lie. And we are just supposed to take it. We're just supposed to like, oh yeah, no. We're supposed to unilaterally go into war against, you know, a nation that has a standing army of almost 1 million. No, this will be fine. One man can do that. It's totally fine. We love it when one guy takes our entire nation into a conflict with another nation that has a very large military. Like, this is insane. This is just insane. There is nothing to be gained here. There is nothing we are actually going to win. It is just bad for everyone. And the longer it goes, the worse it is going to get for American troops and American people and, frankly, the world. No one is a winner in this conflict. And Iran will outlast us all. Don't really know what to say more than that. Things are just getting bad. And they're going to get a lot worse.
Certainly empathize with Americans who are exhausted after 25 years of foreign entanglements in the Middle East. I understand the concern, but the difference is that back then we had dumb presidents, and now we have. I certainly empathize with.
Well, back then we had dumb presidents, and now we have the smartest boy. Have you seen Donald Trump? He's like a regular Da Vinci brain. Incredible intelligence. Is that seriously his argument? Yeah. Don't worry, in the past we had dumb presidents, but now we have the smartest president. I hear his IQ is over 9,000. I'll keep you guys updated on the Iran situation as we continue to go forward, of course, but everything is so stupid. And I'm so sorry we all have to live through these times together. All that being said, folks, if you got anything out of this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, support the show, leave a comment. Comments longer than 8 words apparently help in the algorithm. And consider supporting the show financially. You guys are the people who make this show possible. Couldn't do it without you fine folks. And also, get organized. We need to get organized to kick out the establishment Dems, the corporate Dems, who are riddling this party with people who are willing to throw us all into the wood chipper of war. We do not need to do this. We do not need to put up with it. We should not put up with it. We should be building a pro-labor, pro-working people movement. A movement that doesn't leave anyone behind, that doesn't throw anybody under the bus. And in order to do that, we need people showing up on the local level. We need people showing up at their local Democratic meetings, at their local DSA meetings. Okay, with a handful of people getting involved in their local political scene, the Republicans shifted their entire existence from a party that was fundamentally rooted in like a pro-capitalist, like neoliberal wet dream to being an outright fascist party. And we need people to get involved on the local level to push the Democrats to being the party of working people, the party of hope, the party of future vision, and the party that actually leads us to better outcomes for everybody. Okay? We need folks to run for office, run for something.net. We need people to show up to your local meetings, advocate for the things your city and your state can do in order to help working folks. Okay? We've got Dragonfly over in riverboat.gg chat. That's this chat over here. You can go to that chat and talk to Dragonfly about how to organize with your local Dems, or you can join our Discord, !Discord in any of the chats, and you can ask Dragonfly how to get involved with your local Dems, and she will be happy to onboard you. And GamerG will be happy to onboard you into your local DSA, or even help you start a new DSA branch to get active in your area. We need people organizing and reaching out with their local politically minded folks, and we need people reaching out to their organized labor in your areas, your unions. Bring them all together, make a coalition that we can use to like actually change things for the better in this country. Okay, that is what needs to happen. And last but not least, folks, please check out ImogeneOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Tested also with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It fits everybody, and you know what? It's very comfortable and sexy. It is non-tucking lingerie, and you know what? You should never feel ashamed of your body or feel like you got to change that body. Just feel sexy in that body. So, all that being said, check that out. Link down in the doobly-doo. Let's keep on going, folks.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, being and plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord.